Hello, friends, foes, and watchers of revival cycles. Hi, today is Thursday. It's 3:15, and it's March 29th, I think. Anyway, somewhere in there. It's the end of March. We're mostly in preparations for the Handbuilt show. Get your tickets now. We've got a killer new venue that's right in the middle of downtown on South Congress Avenue, really near South Congress Hotel, where our store is, and near everything. You're gonna love it. Okay, so we've got some questions. I'm gonna go over a few. Film Detective asks, when do you say motor and when do you say engine? People use them, they kind of go together. People use both to describe lots of things. So I might say this is the motor of this bike, or that's the motor of that bike, or that's the engine of that bike. But typically motor in the English language can be used to describe a electric motor, right? And when we say engine, we normally mean internal combustion engine or of the latter, somewhere in there. But so engine is internal combustion engine. A motor can be the motor in a car or internal combustion engine, but can also be an electric motor. So anyway, that's how I do it. Stefan will probably tell you different. David Lang, I know a David Lang, this is a different one. Do you and Stefan use the same software to do Stefan's engineering design work and your creative design work, and what software do you use? No, well, on some bits, yes. So Fusion 360 is what we use now, which is kind of a cloud-based software. We used to kind of have some SolidWorks and other things, but yeah, Fusion 360 is the best bargain. It's cloud-based, so that Stefan and I can be working on the same file from different parts of the world, and that's really kick-ass. I use drawing softwares. I use Adobe Sketch and a few others to draw on my iPad Pro for rough ideas. I also use a napkin occasionally. And Stefan gets a bit more precise, but Fusion 360, or the Autodesk product, is our favorite right now. Anna asks, the quick detach hold down for the Ducati's fuel tank, there will be any concern with rattling if the tolerances in the quick release are not perfect, or is the spring loading taking up the clearance and therefore making a snug fit? The latter is true. The spring clearance, or the spring pressure should take up that stuff and not, you shouldn't have any rattle in there, so it shouldn't wear out, is the answer to that question. Gene Williams asks, how did you guys make the jump into doing bodywork? Did you start with hammers in a bag or more equipment? So the answer to that is, we started with hammers in a bag for sure, and a whole lot of aluminum that we screwed up. Then we had like a planishing hammer, and we used that. And then we made a power hammer, we used that. Andy's kind of gone back to using a shrinker stretcher and a hand hammer more than anything else. We actually quit using the power hammer a while back. That was kind of inspired by like Craig Rodsmith and some other people that we met. But I think there's no right way to do it. It's the way that works for you. And then Mark says, General Mao, he's a freaking communist. Yes, probably one of the most famous communists, General Mao. But anyway, so today I have my gloves on because I'm going to do some nasty work. People asked about this bike. This is a 49 Norton International. And it is, did I see? Yeah. This bike is a 500cc special. Buck Carson is a good friend of ours. And he got a bunch of bikes. He bought a bunch of bikes out of a barn. I think it was like 13 bikes that had all been sitting for a very, very long time. He posted some photos. I saw this bike when he posted it, and I kind of freaked out because this is a dream bike. I always wanted one of these. Everybody else wants the Norton Manx. I like the Norton Manx, but I like this old school frame. The plunger frame on this specific bike was one that I'd always loved, and it was just so well done with like aftermarket pipe and cut down and bobbed tail, and some narrowed bars that are really funny. I loved the chrome tank and the way the International tanks bolted down. There was just something about them. This bike was sitting, I can guess, for, geez, I think that would come up with this plate was on it, and so it'd probably been sitting since 1969. We had the registration in it for 1969 that was in the toolbox. So the best we can come up with, this has been sitting since 1969 until last year, and had not been touched. All the fluids have been drained out of it. And I really wanted it from Buck. And after a year or so of all the bikes he has, they didn't have room for this one or time for it, I suppose. He never touched it. He just delivered it to me one Handbuilt show and put it on permanent loan. So, you know, Buck gets to visit it, but it's, I call it my bike because that's definitely how I feel about it. But I haven't done much to this bike. I got it running that first night that Chris and I messed with it after Handbuilt Show. Changed the oil and cleaned the carb out a bit. I put some grips on it because the electrical tape that was stuck on here was coming off, and I like these stupid funky grips. I think we replaced the spark plug wire because I rode it that way for quite a while, but the other one was so dry rotted we got rid of it. And the fuel line, and then some guy came in here with a box of old parts for a Norton, and there were already holes right here where this was supposed to go. This was originally here, so this is an old school fender pad that I found. I put on here, and I put a new rear tire on it. Actually, I put front and rear tire on it, and you can tell I've ridden it a bit because this is already starting to wear out. I didn't replace the chain. I didn't replace anything. I just got it running and rode it. I've got at least 200 or 300 miles on this bike. And I really liked everything. So anyway, what I rode it at the twist off, and I haven't really touched it since, is this chain. This is the original chain. You can see right here, it's really toast. And it started to jump on me, and I didn't want to bother trying to adjust it. So I'm going to replace this chain. You guys have asked us to do how-tos, and I'll be glad to talk a little bit about it, but I don't want corrections on what I'm doing wrong or what I'm doing right. This is just, I'm showing you that I'm replacing the chain, and there's lots of other maintenance that should be done to this bike, and I haven't touched it, and this is an excuse because you guys are wanting to know how to do stuff or how we approach stuff. This is an excuse for me to work on something instead of always answering the phone or emails or whatever. So, Chris ordered this for me, a Cyclecraft motorcycle chain, and yeah, it's a cheesy chain because you can't just go buy. Ooh, you know what? I think, I got the right chain here? This may be the wrong chain. It looks a little big, but we'll see. I'll pull the other one off, we'll compare. So, if you've never changed a chain before, you should see here. There's the master clip. You can see it's got a pin, like a cotter pin that goes on. And there's better ways to do this, but I just do it this way every time. I just pop it off. You can see that it pops right out. Push this master link out, and voila. Some of you who are astute probably noticed that I'd already loosened up the axle and pushed in the wheel so that I've got all the adjustment out. This was the original chain, and this chain was toast. It shouldn't quite bend that much. It was really, really loose. So I'll lay this one out, and I'll look at it compared to the new one. What I'll have to do is cut this chain down to the right length. Yeah, I think this is the wrong chain. I don't think that I've got, yeah, this is the wrong chain. So we're stopped right there. This is the wrong chain that he ordered for me. We'll come back to this. So there you go. There's the daily for today. Make sure you have the right size chain. I'm not sure what size he got me here. This is a more standard size. So we'll, the spacing is right, but the width, if you look here, the width here versus the width here, it's the wrong chain. So I won't be using this. I want to get this done. I want to ride this bike again. So I'll talk to Chris and we'll come back. Let's go talk to Doc about, Chris is going to give me a new chain. That's good. We'll come back to that. That's how it goes in the workshop. I'll talk to Doc about this 1996 Ninja he's working on. Dude, sickest Ninja in town.
So fast.
Yeah, this is Kawasaki Green, right? How's it going? You putting? Tell us what you're working on.
Slow and steady. It's a 1904 Rex restoration. Today I'm making new oil line for it.
Explain what the oil line is for.
It's just a gravity fed, like basically a drip into the crankcase.
We kind of talked about this before in previous videos about how this pump system works. Well, plunger, I guess. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's going from the oil tank to the bottom end of the engine.
Yep. That's the only oiling it has.
It pretty much
Through
just
like
burns off.
Yeah. Super small sliver at the top of the crank.
And that's what keeps the damn thing lubricated, supposedly. And then what else? You've done a lot here. You've assembled the whole bike. Let's talk about that. So.
Well, today specifically, just finish up the mounting and
for the modern battery,
ignition wiring,
talk about the ignition.
Got the brakes working.
You got the brakes working?
Yeah.
Got this sweet. I bet it's going to work really well. So we talked about this a little bit before this was assembled, about this pressure brake, which just looks kind of like a bicycle brake, but it's even worse because it just rubs against the rim in one little area. It's not like even a pinch brake. It's a suggestion of a brake.
Yeah. Same with the rear, except for it goes in the pulley, like the channel of the pulley.
Let's move this out a little bit. Yeah. Same, yeah. So this is coming together here, Crony. You can show them that. It might work a little better because you got better leverage on that, but
Yeah.
even still, it's not so good.
I mean, you're stopping 1.5 horse, and then
You're not going very fast.
yeah.
It doesn't weigh very much, so it's not that important. And this belt, I hadn't seen this belt. Where did we get that? Ooh, it's already.
That one, that was just installing it.
Oh.
That one was on the other engine. This is the
Okay.
belt it should be on, but it's like 2 links
Too short. Are we gonna make some other links for it, or?
Yeah, we need to get a hold of the guy and see if he has any sort of access
Okay.
or something like that.
We'll get back to that. You can see here. Tell us about this, Doc.
I still am trying to figure out how to make that work because it doesn't yet, but that's for the ignition advance.
So you've
I
got a
have,
mechanical lever, a linkage.
I have the other Rex to look at, but it's just slightly different.
On how you're going to connect those with a linkage,
Mhm.
right? It'll come together. The front brake looks good, by the way.
Yeah, I polished that yesterday.
Yeah, you did. And we had our guy Joe Sweat come in and hand paint the stripes yesterday or the day before. Paint all the striping on it. Even that, like the funny part is like you're still just using reference photos of stuff that we found, and of course this old bike, which is the best part, right? You can see. We'll just leave that there. You can see how we're referencing an original paint and just try to get them to match as close as possible. I like it. I think it looks a whole lot better with that on there.
Yeah.
Again, this is that piece we showed everybody before. This is aluminum. It's all made by hand. They made it look like it was factory. I think it worked out pretty well. I'm so glad to see this bike going back together. Are you going to ride it?
I hope to soon.
You're gonna something missing here.
No,
No, it's good. That's how that goes.
Yeah, Patrick is kind of figuring out what to do with the leather, or if we're going to do anything with it.
Oh,
Just
because
to
it's
help
got
it
original
from
seat.
not falling apart when we put it
Yeah.
back together.
Or we'll maybe make a seat for riding and one for just looking at. All right. That's exciting. When are you going to be riding that?
I don't know. It's
Next
every
week.
little thing is like takes a lot longer than you think.
More patience involved than that Schwanz's Ducati you were working on.
Yeah.
I think a little more improvising is the key. So anyway, all right. Well, thanks for showing it to us. We'll come back. I can't wait to do a daily riding this bike. Oh, sounds like the Brough is here. So we were in Vegas. We bought this, I believe it's in 24, 25 SS80 Brough that was restored in England. Apparently some guys only owned it a few years and either got bored with it or decided to move on. And we picked up for a pretty good deal. I can't say what we paid for it, but let's just say you could buy a pretty nice Ferrari for what this bike costs. I got it.
Good.
Yep.
Hey, we get this strapped later.
It might just fire off. It's got old gas in it, but it's probably sumped like crazy. But I've seen worse. So, here's that. Turn one petcock on, which is all we got. Let's see if it tickles. Doesn't look like it's getting flow. This is the way you, so I've turned the gas on, come in here. This is the gas on. This is the tickle. Oh, there it is, she's wet. If that's wet, that means you've got gas flow. That's a good sign. Compression release. Turns over fine. It's funny, the other Brough doesn't have the battery there. It's hard to kick there. Okay, that's fine. Got my timing. Advance, I'm gonna go full choke and see what I get out of it. That's full retarded. I'm gonna go advance once it starts, hopefully. This is my throttle. Oh wait, this one has the twist grip throttle. My other one has the, this is choke, this is throttle. The other one doesn't have that. Okay. See, it's hard to kick that battery in the way. Man. Trying to get the TDC. Huh. It'll take a little more. Run. Needs a little tuning. I need a little more time with it. The choke was dropping on this bike. You can see in here, look at it real close. See the choke sliding up and down? You need tension to hold it up. If the cable pops, it just drops, which means you're full choke. That's choke. So when I got down there, this was loose, so it was just dropping. Anyway, a little bit of adjustment. It's running. That's a really damn good sign considering we just unloaded it off the truck. And I'm guessing it hadn't run in 6 months or more. So I think that's enough time for today's daily. We'll come back and do some more stuff later. I'm really excited about getting this bike here and getting it running. Buy your tickets, Handbuilt Show. Comment, like, subscribe, share it on your social medias, your Twitters, your MySpaces, your Friendster accounts, whatever that is. We'll see you guys next time. Love you, mean it. Bye.